Okay, take two. I realized the first time I did this, I didn't have my microphone installed, plugged in, so rip me. Shush. Okay, so this is a tutorial for how to install and use Nifskope and miscellaneous information. Nifskope is a very useful tool that is free for budding modders and existing modders and professional modders to use to edit meshes for weapons primarily, objects. You can also use Outfit Studio, Blender, 3ds Max, but the easiest way to do it, in my opinion, is to use Nifskope. Nifskope is primarily used for weapons and objects, and Outfit Studio is primarily for clothing. If you open up weapon meshes in Outfit Studio and save them without doing a certain thing, you mess up the smoothing groups and it looks terrible. So just avoid using Outfit Studio. I'll show you later. I'll mention later why Nifskope is better, and you'll see why from the structures of the meshes. So first off, what you want to do is go to, just go to Google, type in Nifskope, and then you will go to the GitHub, and you want this version 2.0 dev 7. Install it normally, and you'll be fine. Follow the instructions. If you're using Nexus Mod Manager, you will skip this step because this is unique to Mod Organizer 2 because of the way the virtual system works. You will go to Edit, and then Binary. This is for the exe. You go to wherever your program is installed to, like so, and then update that, and then that'll be set up in binary, in the binary key. And you can use the applications icon here, so click this, so that you'll see the icon for the program when you do the drop down menu. Like you see, program icons all there. It just helps for organization purposes. Yeah, so as I said, Nexus Mod Manager users won't have to do this. I have no idea about Vortex because Vortex is inferior and no one should be using it. And then open up Nifskope on first install through your Mod Manager or through Natural if you're using Nexus Mod Manager. First thing you need to do is go to Options, Settings, Resources, Paths. You'll see here, this is where Nifskope will read all the materials, the textures, and the meshes, I guess, from your default folder. Hence why it says data materials. It'll do it for Skyrim, Fallout 4, Skyrim VR, Skyrim SE, whatever. And you can do it manually by adding it, or just do the auto detect game paths, which should be fine. Otherwise, just add these two folders in. Just to be sure. Boom, you're done. That's how you install Nifskope. I'm going to open up a mesh just to show you. Oh wait, importantly, Nifskope cannot read mods if they are packed into BA2s. So a mod like this here, which is Hyper's MP5, in this form, it can't be read by Nifskope. It has to be unpacked. So you'd use a program called Archive2 to like that, there, to open up the BA2s and extract them. It's really easy. It takes about 10 seconds. I'll do it now. So Archive2 is here. You just drag it into the program, Archive, Extract to, and then you pick the folder where you want it to be installed to. So new folder, and then just do select folder, and then it'll do the extraction process. I don't want to do it because I've changed anything there for myself. Okay, so to get Archive2, you have to get the Bethesda game launcher, which is a game launcher, official launcher, whatever this program's called, .NET launcher. It's from Bethesda. You install it, you get an account, and then you go to games, and then it'll come up here with all the different Bethesda games. You want to install the creation kit for Fallout 4. It'll ask you, once you go through that process, it'll ask you about extracting scripts, and you want to do that because it'll extract the game scripts for creation kit. But the point is, once you've install the creation kit and go to your Fallout 4 folder, you will find a folder called Tools in the base folder, and that will be where Archive 2 is. And it's the best program to extract archives. Do not use Bethesda Archive Extractor BAE because that's old. I think it's made for Skyrim. It's just inferior. Archive 2 is what you want to use. Yeah, so I will open up a mesh now and just show you a simple reason why Nifskope is better than Outfit Studio, at least the way I interpret it. So let me just deal with something. So let's go QBC or CQB, whatever. There. So that's a mesh opened up in Nifskope. This is a custom mesh that I've done, so it'll be, when you open up meshes normally, they won't be as ordered as this. For example, magazines tend to be in the middle, depending on how a gun mod's set up. But definitely the magazine's always separate, so it's always in the middle. So you'll see here how everything is split. So normally in a mesh, you won't have all these. Ignore, all of these are gone. Ignore everything except for this bottom bit. It'll be just the ninode, flags, whatever is underneath it. These are all put together. If you're just doing attachments, it'll only be just one main ninode with everything being subheaded. When you're doing Outfit Studio, it doesn't take into account, sometimes, it doesn't take into account sub-ninodes. So if you change something, it could fuck it up. So just avoid it. Nifskope, you can see everything. So that's the header. Actually, no, this is bad. I'll just do a proper mesh and show you what I mean, because my little combination one is going to be confusing. Ignore that, sorry. Let's just do receivers, bipod, stocks. Stocks are pretty. They're pretty. Alright. So as I said, you see one ninode, and then everything else is below it. You click on, if you go to the right side and just click on a mesh, that's the actual mesh you're going to move. If you're going to move it, you want to do transform, edit, and then you can do whatever you want, and then just reject it to cancel changes if you haven't pressed accept yet. Things that are important about attachments are the connect points. You'll see here, actually I'll go to the receiver because the receiver would be better to explain attach points. No changes. So you'll see here, this is the receiver mesh. A lot of things attach to the receiver, so this is a good example. So attach points, connect points, attach points, whatever you want to call them. Children is what this attaches to, so that would be to the receiver node in the game, in the ESP, well, no, mesh, sorry, in the dummy. But this bit is the important bit for what attaches to this. So it'll be stocks, it'll be magazines, it'll be receivers. So I'm just going to open this up and get a magazine out just to show you what I mean. So we'll do the TT mag. No, okay. Oh, it doesn't matter. It's all the same. And we'll just decide for now. So you'll see connect points on the left-hand point. You'll go through them, and these X, Y, Z coordinates will tell the game where in this setup on the skeleton the weapon attachment is going to be attached to. So if we go through it, you'll see, ignore these for the main part, but the names, positions, these will be the areas of the skeleton that this part will go into. It's more important for weapons like a pistol that has a side that goes on a slide, so it moves with the slide rather than independently, so attached to the rest of the frame. But the charge handle here will be put onto the mesh and attributed to the weapon extra 1. So this is where it is. That will be where the charge handle will be attributed to if you had an attachment that changes it, which mine will eventually once I sort that out. My framework's a bit messy at the moment. But anyway, go back to weapons. So for example, you can see here that the magazine, if you right click on the needle for the magazine, it's got really awkward XYZs. So if I go to my other mesh, right, and copy the whole thing, so you want to do that by doing this, copy the whole thing, copy branch, and then close that, and then right click, lock, paste at end. This is just for testing, by the way. So you right click on the whole thing for the mag, edit, and you can get the translation figures, copy and paste them into here, and that will be how the mag appears on the weapon. Obviously, I've got to resize this mag still and do some other things to it, but that is how it would appear if I put that mag into my game right now. You'll get this weird specular thing, by the way, and you want to get rid of that by going render, cube mapping, and there, that's the normal colors. Specular maps are a texture thing, and the cube mapping kind of shows it, so it's like how it shines. It's not as relevant to this as you need it, so just turn them off, and that will be how the mag would appear. So that's just information for you. Hence why when I said before, meshes normally are in the structure, but magazines usually aren't, because I don't know, there's reasons. I'm not an animator, I don't know that stuff. So yeah, right click. One important thing, another thing is, if you want to remove things, don't just do block remove, because what that will do, you see here all this sub levels, remove only removes this level, so then these two get thrown in awkwardly into your mesh, which is not something you want ideally, I think, because these are just details for this mesh, for this part of the mesh. So you want to right click it, block, and then remove the branch, and that removes all the other things in it which were reliant on it. Yeah, I think that's pretty much how you use Nifskope. If you want to copy anything into, make sure that you're aware of the ninodes it goes into. So you don't want to have, so when you have everything minimized, you don't want to have several things like the my test mesh. You want to have just one with one set of children and parent connect nodes. Otherwise, it could cause crashes in game or just weird positionings, and we just want to avoid that stuff. It's not needed. Yeah, if you have any questions, message me and I'll be happy to help you. And if you have any suggestions for other little shitty quick tutorials, I am happy to help. Thank you. Bye.